Hello, Masahiro-san. Hello, Yari.
Bonjour,
Hi.
monsieur.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Thanks for joining.
You're welcome.
Okay, let's wait one more minute and then we'll start.
So we are ready with the 1.1 version.
Yes, I will tell about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let us start. Yes, so we had our last meeting beginning of January. Then I apologize for not being able to run the February meeting, but I had some serious health issues. We are now in the March meeting. So in February, what we said is that we had a 1.1 draft ready, and I had asked for comments, and if no comments received in the next 2 weeks, the draft would have been approved. In fact, I did receive some comments. So if I go to the comments, okay, it seems I cannot go to the message. Okay. So there were comments by Jeffrey Kettle. So the most important comment was that he asked to provide a recommended syntax for the SBOM type. What we had said previously was that you should put the SBOM type in the creator comment field, and we said that the key, we only required the keyword, one of the keywords to be present, and so we allowed a very flexible syntax. So what I have added from the comment by Jeff is that we still have something mandatory that the creator comment field should must contain the SBOM type as a keyword, and what we added is that we recommend, that's not mandatory but recommended, to have SBOM type, the words SBOM type, and the keyword. So that's the modification from the draft that had been presented in January. The other comments from, yes, you want to say
Sorry,
something?
yeah, just the CISA, that's the what's the name of the document? The SBOM type. Where's this circular the link there, the defined by CISA.
Yes.
So I just wonder if that's the document I am familiar with. We have some networking issues. It's so slow.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh my goodness. Or maybe they are, they turned off the websites in US government.
Okay.
Now they're saving, $10 billion taxpayers' money there. Sorry about the politics, but it's a bit crazy out there.
Okay, no. Okay, perhaps I should. Okay, no. Okay, no. We have a new VPN, and it seems that it causes some issue. So okay, so yes, and perhaps it.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. It was my VPN.
Yeah.
So yes. So you can see the comments on the mailing list. So to summarize, so with respect to the January version, this SBOM type sentence has been added. And so at the end of the document, we have the differences between version 1.0 and 1.1. So previously we only allowed package checksum as the package hash, which is an NTIA mandatory field. So now we allow both packet checksum and packet verification code. This was due to some SBOM examples we had from Yocto. Also about the hash, we make it recommended and no longer mandatory because in some cases it might be difficult or even impossible to provide it, for instance, with a proprietary code. So the external ref is recommended instead of mandatory. This was a bit inconsistent because we only made the PAL recommended and not mandatory. File analyze is no longer mandatory. That's also from Yocto because you can you are not obliged to provide files analyzed, and if it's not present, it's true by default, and that's what Yocto does. So we have examples for the SBOM types, and so we change the example of the SBOM merge tool because now there is a new tool called SBOM ASM, which is a better one than the previous example. And last thing, we have added a reference to the latest CISA document. So this one, which is from September, and this document also defines a list of recommended fields, and here you also see that for the hash it allows both package checksum and package verification code, so that's consistent with what we do in this version. And the important thing is that there is a compatibility between version 1.1 and 1.0, in the sense that if you conform to 1.0, you will also conform to version 1.1, as we have relaxed some constraints. Okay, so I propose to do now the same thing in we will allow another period of 2 weeks for providing comments, and if no new comments received, we will consider the document as approved. I had asked previously Shane, as this is only a minor revision of the document, it doesn't need an approval from the OpenChain board. Okay, so that's for the version 1.1. So some other news. There was the FOSDEM event in Brussels beginning of February. So I had planned to provide a talk about the OpenChain Telco SBOM guide. So I had prepared slides, but due to my health issue, I couldn't go there. So it was Gagali Chetari, my colleague from Nokia, that presented the talk. So you can see it online if you like. It's available on the FOSDEM website. I will put the link in the minutes. Another thing is about the validator. So what we had promised in January is to provide a new version with the recursive validation of linked SBOMs. So still speaking about Yocto, when you get an SBOM from Yocto, it consists of many linked files. So we are preparing a recursive validator, but yes, that's the same due to my illness. It's not yet out, but we expect to have it out soon, and also we will make it compatible with version 1.1 of the guide. Okay, so
Sorry, like, do you have like any news? Because I think like Scan OSS, they were working on some validation.
Yes, we had a meeting. With them. They are trying to provide an SBOM which is compatible with the telco guide.
And I guess it's been quite an effort anyway.
Well, okay. So yes, so they did some modifications, but still they have issues in the fact that in some cases the SPDX they generate is not valid with respect to the SPDX standard. I filed some bugs. Here you see they provide some license ref, but they provide a license ref like this, so containing spaces, which is not correct. So you get some validation errors, and well.
And I guess that's even with if you just run the SPDX validator, you get the
yeah. It's I validate with the with the Python validator. So that's not really related. They made some efforts to put the SBOM type and so on, but I still have these errors. And well, I filed two bugs. And well, you see, it was the first one was opened in October and still not fixed. So unfortunately, they cannot claim conformance to the guide due to this. Yes, we had a meeting with them about details on how to provide the hash. So I hope they will. Fix that. We had also discussion with scan code about it, but it's not yet fully compatible.
Yeah. Have there been any, let's say, commercial providers or other commercial providers like, I don't know, Fossa or Black Duck or Revenera interested? Or Ment.io, or you name.
We have contacts with them. For instance, we are using Black Duck, but I would say that's even more. It's even more difficult to try to convince commercial vendors.
Yeah, because I just remember that trying some of the commercial vendors and then just trying to run the SPDX validator, and I think even though it was just some example kind of repo that I ran, and it failed the validator. So I think all of them have issues.
Yeah. I agree. In a number of cases, you have invalid SPDX code.
Yeah, it's an invalid SPDX file or invalid NTIA minimum requirements. And even though some of them they claim that they are NTIA compatible or NTIA minimum requirements compatible or whatever, but they are not when testing. So yeah. But I guess it's same with I didn't try every possible vendor, but some, and it was like fairly consistent that some repos they might have got it, let's say, valid, even though there can be some errors in licenses, but at least the documents they were valid. But then same tool and some other repo, then they produced invalid SBOM. So. But that's just my experience when I was testing a little bit with different tools.
Yeah. Okay. So yes, one last thing we got one more translation. We already had a simplified Chinese translation, and now one person from Taiwan provided the translation in traditional Chinese. So, and yes, all these translation will need to be updated with the 1.1. Okay, so any other comment or question?
Well, in the 1.1, there was this one change that now the example was SBOM ASM tool. Do you know who's the maintainer of the tool, or who provided the tool in the first place?
Yes, it's a company called Interlink.
Ah, okay, yeah. I know the company.
Yes, you can. It's an open source tool, so you
Yeah.
can find it on GitHub. And yes, the company is Interlink, and they provide also another tool called SBOM-QS for quality score.
Yeah.
It provides some metrics, and yes, they know us. They did a posting. They did a posting about the OpenChain Telco guide some time ago when it was first published. So yes.
Yeah, I know the CEO from Interlink. I have a couple of calls with him, and I gave some feedback, some time ago about the tool.
Yeah. I met him in Open Source Summit in Vienna.
Okay.
Okay, so if no other comments, we can close the call, and I will send the minutes as usual.
Yeah, and you will have the second call.
The second call in
Yeah.
the afternoon. No, not sure someone will join, but yes, there will be the second call this afternoon.
All right. Merci beaucoup, monsieur.
Merci.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Talk to you later.
Ciao, ciao.
Hello, Jimmy.
Hi, Marketing. How are you doing?
Yes, I'm better now.
I'm glad to hear it. I had a dust with the flu after FOSDEM.
Yeah. I couldn't attend first time. I had a talk planned, but and I had prepared the slides, but I couldn't go there. So it was Gagali who did the presentation.
Yeah, he did a good job of it. I managed to attend that one. At least I got sick after FOSDEM, but
Oh,
it wasn't fun. Okay, but glad to be hearing that you're doing better. I saw the notes from the call this morning.
yes.
Did you touch on or did you start to discuss the sort of if it would be a good idea to add requirements on sort of storage and encryption of SBOMs, or do you think that's maybe a discussion that would be better to have in the SBOM study group? I don't know.
Yes, since you were not there this morning, we didn't discuss it. I would like to have the 1.1 out as soon as possible. So yes, perhaps we can discuss that in the SBOM study group. And include it in a future revision.
Yeah, I agree with getting 1.1 out and sort of official as soon as possible. There's certainly those inside Ericsson that's asking for when that will happen and would like to see that as soon as possible. So I very much support that, and we could discuss that in the SBOM study group instead, and maybe update a future version of the guide with that instead. But getting 1.1 out seems to be the more urgent thing.
Yes, we put we put the 1.0 in practice at Nokia, and yes, what we found was that Yocto was doing things a bit differently because it didn't provide the package checksum, but instead the package verification code, and it didn't provide the file analyzed flag because it used the default value of true. So that's why we made this modification. These are the major modifications with respect to the first version. And also what I said this morning, we are working with Scan OSS so that they can provide an SPDX output that is compliant with the guide. We had a first meeting in January, and I just saw before this meeting that they are asking for another meeting with us. As I said this morning, they have some some invalid SPDX generated, but I don't think it should be too difficult to fix.
I did have a look at the GitHub links you posted in the meeting notes. So no, it doesn't seem that complicated. Are you speaking to Julian at the Scan OSS, or?
We had various people, Fito, Michael, Agustin. I don't remember. There were several people. Let me check. Yes, sure.
I spoke to Julian about the telco profile, but that must have been
Yeah,
2 years or more ago about that. And at the time, they were very keen to support that at least. So
yeah. From as I also put in the notes, for commercial tools, it's often more difficult to to make them move for that and for other improvement.
yeah, but at least I will sort of I'll bring it up next time I speak with Scanroses that we would also like to see support for that, even if we aren't big users of Scanroses yet. I mean, it's one of those things we'd like to see supported. We can even make such a comment on GitHub, and maybe that will help. And I think with Black Duck and other commercial tool vendors, I think it's hopefully we can start to have those conversations with them as soon as we have like more critical, more math behind this, or more momentum, which I think we'll see over this coming year. So another slightly related topic, if you don't mind, what's your view of what you would like to see from the SBOM study group, and how do you feel that we best leverage that for the telco related activities?
Yes, what was well, one of the differences in purpose that they have is that they want to have a specification that is language agnostic, meaning they don't put a specific format as a requirement as we do. For me, the advantage of the idea in the work of the telco work group was that if we specify something precise, so it's SPDX and it's SPDX version 2, this allows us to create a tool to validate the conformance to the guide. That's what we provided. So that's one way of doing it. They would like something independent of the language. That is a bit a different direction, but that's also okay. So what was suggested by Shane and others is that they could take the telco guide and use it as a basis in order to be compatible. So that would be the best the best way to start the work. After that, it's one remark I did in in the previous SBOM work group is that perhaps you should do the specification language agnostic, but after that still propose some instance in the different possible SBOM languages so that it can be validated. Also, one remark is that there are now several there are several teams that are working on defining what an SBOM should be. We have the anti-IA minimum elements that are very small. Then CISA has put out a guide that lists most things. We have in Germany, we have the BSI that has created a guide. You have the India government that has submitted a guide. You have well, that's not a guide, but if you check the CRA, there are also requirements on SBOM, and there was some presentation at FOSDEM about that, but the concern is a bit that as the time passes, there are more and more required fields. In the India, I don't know if you had time, but if you check the India guide, they require an enormous number of fields, and I don't think it's technically possible to populate all the fields in some cases, because they require really strange fields in some cases. So
I haven't studied that in detail, but I've heard the same, that those requirements really go way beyond what is required, which is why I like the approach we had in Telco to sort of agree on a good baseline rather than getting all these range requirements. I don't know what to do about the India one, but I understand it goes way too far, and it will not be possible to supply that information with any sort of accuracy.
Yes, so that's one point that should be taken into account in the SBOM group, is not to over specify and to require too many things.
Yeah. Okay, but then at least I have a good understanding of what your view is. I think it will be interesting to evolve this over time. But at least it seems also that 1.1 is on a good track, which will make some people in Ericsson very happy, because then they can use that as an official reference, because some pushback now has been that it's still a draft, and even if I tell them that it's pretty much a final draft, they don't want to start implementing based on that.
Yeah. Yes, in the January meeting, I had started the 2 weeks period if no comment, it's approved. But well, we had some comments. Some comments were things that were not well understood, but still there was one valid comment about the SBOM type to recommend the syntax. So that I have added that after the January meeting, and well, initially I would have hoped to have the guide out for STEM, but well, due to these comments plus the fact that I went to hospital, that couldn't be done. But it will be. I don't, since we had a first round of comments, I don't expect comments in the next 2 weeks, so we'll be able to validate.
Yeah, well,
I hope so in March.
Yeah, I think that sounds like a reasonable plan. Let's hope for that.
And once it's approved, we'll provide a new release of the validator to accommodate with 1.1. Okay, so
Yeah, I think that's it for me at least. I don't have anything further.
Okay. So I will send my notes again, and we'll meet next month.
Excellent, great. Hopefully with an approved 1.1.
Yes, I hope so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great. Good talking to you, and great to hear that you're doing better.
Yes. So let's keep in touch, and
Absolutely. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, Jimmy.